Hi friends, welcome back to your sequence 2 of our month of repetition is magic. This flow will be an Ashtanga primary series inspired flow. So we'll move rhythmically with our breath from standing, and then we'll come to a seated position and work with some variations on forward folds. As always, make it yours. So if the breath count is too fast or too slow for you, add in breaths, take them away. You can also add in forms and take them away, and let the practice meet you where you're at each day. I'm going to offer a few props today. So I'm starting sitting on a blanket. You might want that for your forward folds. If you want to do inversions today, you might want to be near a wall for that wall support, so you can quickly move towards the wall to support you. If you want to work with a bind, you could have a strap nearby. That could be helpful. And if you like to have a block underneath your hands in triangle or extended side angle, I'll demo with the block so you can have that at the top of your mat. So let's begin in a seat and land here. And for this, you might close your eyes. You might keep your eyes open. And allow yourself to feel contact with the ground. And the offering will be to orient towards your breath for this practice. So if there's a soft sound to your breath that helps you to tether your attention to your breathing, you could find that sound by slightly closing the channel of your throat. So it's more like a whisper sound than a speaking sound with your breath. Couple breaths like this, allowing yourself to land. And if you're feeling a little scattered, a little busy, you might focus on your exhalation for this practice. And if you're feeling a little shut down, a little lethargic, you might bring in some more attention towards your inhalation. Last few moments here, notice how much energy is needed to stay present. And if you're using a lot of extra energy, what would it feel like to move towards ease and sort of slough off that extra energy, maybe that furrow in between your brow? Maybe that unnecessary muscle tension. Last breath here. Let your eyes open when you're ready, and you can shift your prop to the side if you're sitting on a blanket and move towards the front of your mat. So I'll be switching my direction today because of turning out to the right. So you can start to warm up your wrists for a couple of counts here by pressing your arms towards straight and moving your shoulders a little maybe on the wrist line or beyond. Pressing into the knuckles under your fingers and staying with that breath, maybe the sound of your breath if you like. Let's come to neutral and then turn one hand all the way around so the fingers move towards your knees and move forwards and back. Your breath in and out. Releasing that hand, switching the other hand around, and again shifting forwards and back. Your breath in, your breath out. Shifting that hand forwards and then popping up onto both sets of knuckles underneath your fingers and seeing if you can make a long line from your armpit towards those knuckles. So you might shift your shoulders forwards and slowly lower. Tremendous stretch for the hands there. And you can do that 2 more times. Shift up onto those knuckles. See if you can make a straight line from the knuckles to the armpits, shifting the armpits, shoulders forwards, and slowly lower. Last one there, pop up, shift forwards. You can press more into your finger pads if you like there. And slowly lower. You might shake out through your hands, set your hands up for downward facing dog, tuck your toes and reach up and back to your downward facing dog. Finding that breath again, you might lift your armpits and lengthen the side waist, casting your fingers down into the floor, elevating your hips up and back. Let your shoulder blades wrap wide and elevate your breath in, your breath out. Step, hop, or walk towards the top of your mat. Lengthen your spine there and fold forwards. In your forward fold, choose a hand position that works for you and take 3 breaths. Maybe shifting your weight slightly forwards and back from toes to heels and heels to toes. Shifting the weight now into the heels, you can round up or take your arms to the sides. Come all the way up. Reach, you might look up there and let your hands swim down by your sides and perhaps in front of your chest here. Hands together. Let's find the sound of Om 3 times. So inhaling your breath. Exhaling everything. Inhaling for Om. 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 Let your hands fall down by your sides, Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forwards over your legs. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, step or hop back through your plank. Strong legs, wide collarbones lower to the floor to chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Inhale, find your cobra or upward dog. And exhale, up and back through your downward facing dog. Maybe orienting towards your breath, your points of contact with the ground. 4-1. 4-2. 4-3. On your exhalation, bend your knees, step or hop, feet to the top of the mat. Find length there and fold. Heels heavy, come all the way up. And release your arms by your sides. Bend your knees, sweep your fingers to the floor. Chair form. Lifting your back ribs there. Press to stand, fold forwards. Lengthen out that halfway lift. Step or hop through your plank to chaturanga or the floor. Upward dog or cobra. Pelvis stays where it is. Drag your low spine forwards, up and back to downward dog. Right foot forward, back foot on an angle. Inhale to warrior 1. Stamp your back heel into the earth. Exhale all the way down. You might stay in down dog or cycle through your chaturanga or the floor. Upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Left foot forwards, back foot on an angle. Inhale as you touch the top of warrior 1. Press your back heel to the earth. Exhale all the way down. Strong legs. Pelvis stays where it is. Drag your spine up and through. Press up and back to your downward facing dog. 1. Wide around your neck, wide around your sitting bones for 2. Even spreading your toes, your pinky toes for 3. Step or hop top of your mat. Lengthen there and fold. Chair form. Find that length through your low back. Front ribs drop. And press to stand. Variation on that chair form. Folding forwards. Finding that length through to your chaturanga or the floor. Upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Right foot forwards, back foot on an angle. Inhale to the top of warrior 1. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Inhale, elevate your shoulders, squeeze them together. Exhale, drag them down your back. Open them up in protraction, wide shoulder blades. Sweep your hands forwards. Left elbow over top of the right. Give yourself a hug or eagle wrap your arms. Next inhale, scoop your elbows forwards and up. Next exhale, fold forward so your shoulder touches your right knee or maybe clears the right knee and you fold towards the ground. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release your hands, palms face forwards. Let them fall by your sides, maybe even a little bit back behind you with straight arms. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Touch the top of warrior 1. Exhale, hands find the floor. Step back, maybe a 3-legged chaturanga here. Untuck your left toe if you like. Inhale to your up dog or cobra and up and back to your downward facing dog. Left foot forwards, right foot on an angle. Inhale, touch the top of warrior 1. Exhale, hands by your sides. Neutral spine there, moving the shoulders up. Inhale, squeeze them together. Exhale, down your back, widen your shoulders. When you inhale, your arms can come up. Cross your left elbow over your right. Either give yourself a hug or find an eagle wrap of your arms. Scoop your elbows forwards and up on the inhale. Exhale, fold, letting your left shoulder touch your knee perhaps, or clear the knee and fold a little further forwards. Inhale, come up, release your arms, face your palms forwards. Exhale them back, maybe keep your arms straight, keep exhaling them back. Sweep them up on your inhale to touch the top of warrior 1 and all the way down. Perhaps you clear the left foot, 3-legged chaturanga or 3-legged abdominal press to the floor, moving through your upward dog and up and back to your downward facing dog. 401. For 2, welcome to take a child's form here. Maybe you're noticing your shoulder blades wrapping wide and elevating. Outer armpit long, 4, 3. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Lengthen there and fold. Bend your knees. Chair form. Maybe sinking a little lower here. Press to stand. One more like that chair form. And fold. Finding length. Step or hop your way back. Wide collarbones. Inhale, move your sit bones towards your heels. And exhale, tuck your chin. Right foot forwards, warrior 1 stance. touch the top of warrior one, hands down on your exhale. Inhale, shoulders up, shoulders back, shoulders down. Exhale, sweep your hands forwards. Left arm over your right, either hug or eagle wrap. Elbows forwards and up. Exhale and fold. Touch or clear, and then on your inhalation, come back up. This time, exhale, release your hands, palms face forwards. Inhale, palms up. Try to stay neutral in your spine, then turn your thumbs down, internal rotation of your shoulders. Sweep them back behind you and squeeze your arms towards straight with your thumbs down. Bring your hands as close together as you can. At the very end of that range, bend your elbows, interlock your hands. Breathe in, widen your collarbones and lift your fists. Exhale, fold forwards. Either touch your shoulder towards your knee or come close or clear into humble warrior towards the floor. Inhale, touch the top of warrior one. Exhale, come down. You might do that three-legged chaturanga, sit bones to heels. Your toe untuck cobra or up dog. And up and back to downward facing dog. Left foot forwards. Back foot on an angle. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, shoulders up. Elevate, retract shoulder blades together. Drag them down the back to press. Widen them, take your arms forwards. Protraction. Taking your left arm under your right, hold your wrist or eagle wrap your arms. Scoop elbows up and fold. Either touch your shoulder or clear your shoulder. Humble warrior. Inhale, come back up. Release your arms, palms forwards. Exhale, inhale. Lift, get long, and then turn your thumbs down behind you. Internally rotate your shoulders and squeeze, 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 squeeze your arms towards straight. Shoulder blades together. At the very end of that movement, bend your arms and interlock. Breathe in, wide collarbones, lifted arms. Breathe out and fold. Humble warrior. All the way back up. Warrior one. Release your arms. And step back. Might be through that three-legged chaturanga. Sit bones to heels. Upward dog or cobra. And tuck your chin, downward facing dog. For one. And two, notice how much energy is needed to stay present in the form, to find the balance between strength and steadiness and ease and softness. 2, 3, step or hop your feet top of the mat. Lengthen and fold chair form. Bend your knees. Maybe bend a little lower here. And press to stand. Feet hip distance, hands on your waist. Shoulder blades together on the back. Lift your back ribs. Micro bend your knees and fold forwards. You can choose to take your toes here, maybe your fingers in front. If you're holding your big toes, pull up on them, lengthen your spine, and fold forwards. Let your head aim for the ground as your elbows move wide. Perhaps you clear the space around your neck and let your neck free fall. One more breath. Your hands can be in a different position here. Your knees might be bent. You can come up halfway. Perhaps some of you will take your palms face up underneath your feet. And then again, inhale and fold into that, shifting the weight slightly into the balls under your toes as you might straighten your legs a bit more. You're also welcome to take a different hand position there. One more breath. Perhaps widening through your sitting bones. Come up a little unhook your hands, take your hands to your waist, squeeze of your shoulder blades. Heavy heels brings you all the way up, feet together at the top of the mat. So if you're using a block for triangle, take it with you out to the right. Turn out to the right, turn your right foot out, your left foot in. Tighten your kneecaps, squeeze your legs together to come up and over your right hip joint for your triangle. How's your breath here? Can you breathe into your low ribs for 2? How's your bottom shoulder? Is it centered? 3, weight in your back heel to help you come up. Turn around to your left foot, turn your right foot in. Tighten, squeeze in the center. Strong legs takes you up and over into triangle on the left side. Your breath, your rhythm. Heavy back heel, come on up. Turning all the way around to your right foot. Back foot comes in and a little wide for revolved triangle. Your block can go underneath your nose or your fingertips or to the outside of your foot for a slightly bigger twist. Hips move back, head moves forwards. Perhaps that right arm reaches up. Project out through your limbs. Exhale into your center. Circle down. You might take your block with you all the way up towards your left foot. Set your feet up and lower your right hand into the right placement for you. Hips back, head forwards. Ribs revolve towards the ceiling. Maybe the left arm goes up. Circle down, come all the way up and step to the top of your mat. You might take your block with you out to the right again, turning towards your right foot in a warrior 2 stance. You could do elbow to knee or perhaps hand to the block or fingertips to the floor on the outside of the leg. Flip your left palm forwards, external rotation of your arms, sweep that along your side of your ear. And maybe turn your chin in towards your armpit. Push the ground away with your bottom hand. 1. Fill your back ribs with your breath, opening the sheet of your back. 2. Push the ground away. 3. Come on up. Turn into warrior 2 stance towards your left foot. Find that appropriate position of your bottom arm. Right hand flips forwards. 4, 1. Push the ground away with your bottom arm to feel that buoyancy through your joints. 2. 3, come on up. Turn all the way around to the back of your mat. Turn your back foot on a pivot, heel lifted. And you can let your block go for this one. Left elbow comes across to the outer right knee. Either choose a prayer form with your hands there, or you might take your outer shoulder to the outside of the knee and make a T with your hands. You might also turn your shoulder so your palm faces forwards and reach that arm over your ear. Some of you might take your back foot on an angle like a warrior 1 foot. All equal value options. Breathing into those congested spots in the twist. And unwind. Heavy back foot spins you all the way up. Turn to the front of your mat, back foot on a pivot. Up with your right arm, twist across. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Find your form. Choosing one of those arm positions, maybe that external rotation. If your hips are shifting to the left, you might take your right sit bone to the right, widening through your hips, making more space for the twist coming from the sacrum. Unwind there, come all the way up, step to the top of your mat. Step back out right. All 10 toes face out to the right, hands to your waist. Lift your back ribs, fold forwards with a little micro bend and strong hamstrings. Sit bones moving towards the backs of your knees. Hands to the ground, come up halfway lift and walk your hands back, more in line with the line of your feet. Aim your head for the floor. You might feel a relaxed protraction, a width through your shoulder blades. Finding that clearing through your neck. If your head finds the floor, some of you might practice strong pressure into your hands, a squeeze into your elbows, and your feet coming off. Perhaps to find a straddle for a moment there. Or some of you might come up towards a tripod headstand for breath, letting gravity hollow out the cavity of your abdomen. Perhaps you come back to the straddle and lower your feet. Halfway lift there and hands to your waist. Strengthen those hamstrings down to the backs of your knees. See how that feels to support you to come up out of your hinge. Arms to the sides, reach out. Then take your arms, thumbs down. Straight, straight, straight behind you. Straight as you can, as close as you can together. And then at the very bottom of that, bend your elbows, clasp. Inhale, lift, broaden your collarbones, lift your fists. Bend your knees and fold forwards with that strong hamstring. Hamstring moving down to the floor as you fold. And instead of aiming your hands to the floor, think of widening your collarbones, maybe even lifting your shoulder blades away from the floor, and then allowing your hands to hang back behind you. One. You can always adjust your feet, even tuck your chin here. 2. And 3, heavy heels, strong hamstrings, brings you all the way up. Release your arms. You can flip your palms up here. Step to the top of your mat. Arms come behind you, either hold wrists, elbows, or some of you might internally rotate your shoulders. Flip your palms away from you and wiggle your palms up your back. Perhaps your pinky fingers make contact, maybe your index fingers and thumbs. With your right leg, step all the way to the back of your mat into a pyramid form with your feet. Stamp your back heel and start to fold forwards over your right leg. Again, lift and widen your collarbones. And you can always let your hands go here. One more breath. Back heel pressurizes, and that can support you to come up. You can turn all the way around to your front foot, pyramid shape with your feet, and fold. Heavy back heel. Heavy back heel brings you up here. Turn to the side. You can take your arms out, flip your palms up, step to the top of your mat. Standing on your left leg, bring your right knee in or catch your toe. Left hand to hip. If you're holding your toe, you can lengthen out your leg. Maybe bring it a little higher. Try not to lean back, somersault your ribs a little forwards even. Let the leg or your knee come out to the side. You might look over your left shoulder and imagine you're still standing on your right leg, so you descend your right sit bone. Leg or knee into the center, and if your knee is bent, start to bend that knee and curl forward, slide your hands down towards your ankles. You can do that same thing if you've had a straight leg, and either stand tall, tuck your pelvis down here, left arm up, or start to soften your left knee, shift forwards for a dancer's form, and perhaps kick your back leg back. Some of you might try holding your back leg in space and flipping your grip to the inside of your ankle. Some of you might try to bend your left knee, that strong hamstring feeling, and tap your left fingers to the floor before you come all the way up. And slow release of your right leg. Stand on your right leg, left knee in towards your chest, or hold your big toe. You might bring the leg towards you and somersault forwards. Your breath. Messiness, welcome. Leg or knee out to the side. You might look over your right shoulder and imagine you are still standing on your left leg. Notice if your breath has quickened, has hardened, feels like it's dry here, and can you just use the appropriate amount of energy you need. Leg forwards or your knee, bend that knee, curl forwards, clasp your ankle, and either come up, posterior tip of the pelvis, tail tuck, arm up, or you can soften your right knee and start to shift forwards, maybe kick the leg back. You might keep it there, strong through your leg, clasp your inner ankle. And some of you might descend your right hamstring to the floor to tap, knees squeezing into the midline to help you come up and out. Standing on your left leg, right leg either into a figure four here, so you sink into a figure four hip stretch, or for some, a half lotus. That's okay on your knee. If you're working to bind, you could use a strap, or you could turn towards your right knee and use your left hand to feed your foot to your right fingers. Turning back forwards and finding some length in your lower spine. Some of you might fold forwards in a half lotus forward fold. And again, imagine you're standing on that right leg, whichever variation you're in here. Some of you might choose to find an arm balance. So if your hands find the floor, perhaps blocks you could play with. Your right foot could hook around your left forearm or upper arm, shift forwards until your hands catch you. You might turn your left toes, tippy toes to the ground, and perhaps kick it up or reach it out for Galavasana. Some of you, if you want to try, and you're in a half lotus, unhook your bind, hands to the floor, half lotus knee to the right arm, free leg to the left arm, and kick your left heel up, straighten your arms more for a variation on Bakasana or crow. Wherever you are, you can ground down. Maybe for some, you find that bind again, come on up, and release your right leg, left leg into figure four or that half lotus. Start to forward fold in your own way. Perhaps you turn towards that left knee, feed your toes to your foot. You can always use a strap there if you'd like to try to fold forwards in a half lotus forward fold. Some of you might have that figure four exploration. Imagine you've got that left leg still on the ground. If you'd like to play with that arm balance, show you with the blocks, you could Galavasana. Sometimes the fingers are good to curl around the edges of the blocks. Foot hooks around the upper right arm. Turn it to a toe. Tiptoe, maybe bend, maybe press. So the left shin and your arms press into each other to find the leverage. Some of you might be playing with that half lotus bakasana variation. Lotus leg to left arm. Free leg to the right arm. Maybe straighten your arms a little more and come on out. Perhaps you re-establish the bind or you come on up, finding length through your low back, releasing your leg, coming to the ground here. So arms up, forward fold, finding length, step or hop back, chaturanga, upward dog or cobra, downward facing dog. So finding yourself coming to a wall, if you like, for your handstand practice, facing the wall. If you're finding it in the middle of the room, press index finger and thumb. Take your one leg forwards, more comfortable leg up, and you might do 3 hops where you kick your bent leg in towards your seat. Or you might find a handstand for 3 breaths. Looking in between your thumbs. And coming down, messiness always welcome. Shifting back to child's form, flip your hands up, and you might curl your knuckles towards the ceiling. Step back to downward facing dog. Step or hop feet to the top of your mat, find your length, and fold. All the way up. Release your arms. Arms up. Forward fold. Lengthen there. Step or hop back. Optional here. Upward facing. Downward facing. Come down to your knees. Again, you might have your wall for support. Forearm balance, so hands down. Lift the space in between your shoulder blades, let your head hang. Tuck your toes and start to lift up towards a forearm dog. So you can cast your wrists down, cast your knuckles down. Breathe in here. Letting your head hang, those shoulder blades wide on your back as you press into the inner hand, inner wrist. Some of you might find some of those hops up, and some of you might switch your legs, finding the more awkward leg to hop up. Two. And 3, coming out of your pincha, hips to heels. Slide your hands back. Maybe your forehead reaches the floor, maybe your shoulders slump, and you can curl your knuckles up towards the ceiling. Finding your down dog here, step or hop through to your wide-legged, slightly wide-legged forward fold. Let's bend our knees and aim our armpits towards our knees so the torso and upper leg come close together. And then you might think of widening your feet, dialing your feet out so your sit bones feel wide here, and sliding your heels towards straight, keeping that upper leg and torso close together. Let's take a breath there. You might let your head hang. Okay, option to stay there and stay with your breath, or come up, re-bend your legs, reseal your torso to your legs, and crisscross your elbows so that your armpits still meet your knees. You can still dial your feet out, dial your sit bones wide, but you're in a crisscross, and you might start to press your heels forwards. Perhaps you find an eagle wrap through your arms and let your bottom elbow find the ground. Some of you might let your head rest in the nook there of your bicep, elbows. Perhaps some of you reach your legs a little more towards straight, inch your elbows a little forwards. Unwrap your arms, hold on to the backs of your knees, come up so you can switch your sides there. Your right arm over your left, dialing your feet out, sliding your heels a little forwards if you like. Perhaps you find that eagle wrap and your bottom elbow taps the ground, and you let your head hang. Can unwrap your arms, hold under your knees, come on up, and let your left leg go forwards, your right leg into Janu Shirshasana, sole of the foot towards the inner leg, and start to fold. You might shift your pelvis so that your two hip bones at the front aim forwards, and start to crawl your torso forwards. You might think of belly button to your toes, and then allow for a rounding to come. Some of you might clasp around your foot. Coming back to your breath, how much effort is necessary to stay present? Heavy sit bones brings you up. Right leg, you can hold it underneath your ankle. Either take a figure four, which might mean a block could support underneath your knee to fold forwards here, or take that leg into half lotus. And to bind, you might, again, feed your toes, turn right towards your lotus leg to find that bind, or you can use a strap around your foot. Turn back towards your left leg and fold. So whichever variation you are in there. Sit bones heavy, come on up. This time stack your knees as much as you can. Right knee over your left knee. Maybe that block stays there or not, and you can start to fold over your knee. For some, you might hook your chin over your knee, maybe clasp around the foot. Come on up there, lean back, bend your bottom leg, and pile your knees over top of each other. So they might be a little further away. You might move them a little more towards each other, and you can move your seat away from your bottom leg. And either stay upright, perhaps with a block underneath your pelvis, or you can start to oscillate your way forwards and back, or lean in, perhaps hooking your chin. Hips heavy, come on up from that. And here you're welcome to uncross and crisscross your right ankle in front of your left. So you can push yourself forwards into a crisscross squat, or you can try without your hands, rolling forwards into a crisscross squat and lifting your hips, coming onto tippy toes. And see if you can take your respective knees onto respective upper arms, shift forwards, press the ground away, protract your shoulders wide, and with your bottom foot, lift your right foot up into a crisscross ankle crow. Perhaps some of you straighten your arms a little more. One inhale, one exhale. Let your legs go there, find a malasana toe squat or heels down. Breath in, breath out. Step or hop back, downward facing dog. Optional to move through plank, lower your back bend, your downward dog. Step or hop through, right leg long, left leg into Janu Shirshasana. You might orient your hip bones forwards, start to fold forwards. Maybe clasp. How much effort is necessary? Orienting perhaps towards ease, towards your breath, noticing if there's that extra effort in your breath. Or you round your eyes. And come on up. So you can choose that figure 4 variation with support. You might bring your left leg towards a half lotus, feed your toes towards your hand, or hook a strap around and then turn back forwards. It's okay if your knee is up. You might pressurize your knee down any amount that feels safe and fold forwards, any variation that you're in there. Feel free to move around and explore what works for today. Letting yourself come up, either with block support under your knee or not. Knees pile over top of each other. And start to fold forwards, crawling yourself forwards, perhaps tucking your chin. Coming up, leaning back, taking your bottom leg under, so your knees might be further apart. They might stack a little more, perhaps a block underneath your seat. You can move your hips away from your bottom leg and oscillate forwards and back, or fold and tuck your chin over your top knee. Hips heavy to come up. You can undo, crisscross your ankles. Either use your hands to curl you forwards or let go of this nonsense and do it as you need to. Come forwards and then lift your up onto your tippy toes. Perhaps you do that without your hands. Bring your hands in, knees on respective arms, shift forwards, and maybe your bottom foot starts to pick up your right foot. And perhaps you move your arms towards straight, wide shoulder blades, and armpits move away from your neck for your breath in and out. Maybe slow motion, turn yourself towards a toe squat or a heel squat, malasana squat. Step it back or hop it back, down dog, your choice. Through plank to lower, up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Come to your knees there, and this time when your elbows are down, interlock your hands, and if you have the pinky finger that's on the bottom, tuck it under so you have a flat surface to work with. Elbows no wider than your shoulders. Protract your shoulders, let your head hang, and come up towards a Shirshasana downward dog. You can let your head hang here and feel that elevation of your shoulders. Some of you might turn to a wall for this. You might tiptoe your feet in and let your head land in between your wrists. Maintain strong pressure through your forearms so your shoulders feel lifted away from the ground. You might bend one knee in towards your chest, come up onto the other tippy toe, and play with bringing your hips more over top of your shoulders. There it might feel a little easier to come up, stacking your hips on top of your shoulders, pressing the ground away with your forearms. Maybe feeling gravity hollow out the cavity of your abdomen if you're upside down. And if you prefer not to be weight-bearing on your head for any reason, you might go to the wall and try your forearm balance again if you're choosing to invert. Let's go for a couple more breaths. To come down, I prefer one leg at a time to start. Keep pressing the ground away with your forearms as you lower down and go right into a child's form. Rolling your hips back onto your heels. Your hands might come back, palms up, shoulders slump. Hands forwards, step back into your downward facing dog. You might cycle through your chaturanga, up dog, and downward facing dog. Come on through to your back for 3 bridge or wheel. So you're welcome to use a block underneath your pelvic plates there to find more of a restorative shape. Perhaps you want to use the strength of your legs as well to lift your hips up and drag your sit bones towards the backs of your knees. So again, we're feeling that hamstring moving down as we boost our chest. Perhaps roll the shoulders under and lengthen out the back side sheet of your back. You might interlock your hands and press the back side of your hands, your arms into the ground. Some of you might flip your fingers and feel ready to come up towards a wheel, maintaining that strong sit bone to back of the knee and maybe rocking your wheel a little to warm up your wrists. And if you're coming down from there, squeeze elbows in, tuck your chin, roll down. Let your knees fall to the right, breathe in. Let your knees fall to the left, breathe out. Center it out, roll back up. Maybe for some, if you're in a bridge, you can explore coming up onto your tippy toes and holding onto your pelvis, and perhaps pressing your pelvis up in that same way that we were warming up the hands at the beginning of the practice. Push your knuckles up into your hips, and then sit bones to the backs of the knees. Gently boost the chest. Perhaps come up onto your head for a second wheel. Squeezing the elbows slightly in towards each other. And tucking your chin, coming on down, perhaps segmentally, knees to the right, knees to the left. Last one. In this last one, notice how much effort is needed to be present in the form, to find the balance between steadiness, strength, ease, and softness. Come on up to your choice of, if you're practicing a bridge, some of you might walk your feet a little more in and see if you can find your ankles. Pull with your ankles. Pull your hands on your ankles. And some of you might find your shoulders a little closer towards your heels and aim your knees forwards and come onto your tippy toes as a starting point for moving towards a tippy toe wheel. 1, 2, knees and elbows gathering in a little. And 3, you might walk your feet out or walk your hands out to lower your way down. Knees to one side, knees to the other. Draw your knees in, give yourself a big hug there. And whatever feels right here, you can roll up or roll to the side. This time with a forward fold, you can walk your sit bones back and bring your feet closer together. Long spine here, tipping your pelvis forwards, reaching your belly button towards your toes. Lean towards your forward fold. 5 breaths. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. Sit bones heavy, come all the way up. And here you might lie right back down. You might also cross, lift, roll through. Upward facing, downward facing, and come on through onto your back. You're also welcome to sit in a meditation to close your practice. If you're on your back, make any adjustments that you need to take up all the space that you need. And you might let your breath out with some sighs or 3 big exhale breaths. And starting to watch your breath. We'll close this practice with an invitation to do samavritti pranayama, so 5 count breath in, 5 count breath out. And with a keen interest in conserving your energy, how much energy do you need to use to be fully present with your breath? Maybe there's a furrow in between your brow, some unnecessary tension. Five counts in. 5 counts out. And if some of the intensity of that unnecessary tension dissolves, you might find yourself resting in awareness. Perhaps aware of more than one thing at once. And maybe everything feels a little bit brighter. Taking your time here in Shavasana, staying for as long as you need, noticing each day you land here, do you feel like you need more or less time to settle? Thank you for practicing with me today. May you have peace.